There are moments when you feel someone without thinking of them. No memory triggered it. No message arrived. No image appeared. Yet something inside you paused. That pause is not random. When a soul calls another, it does not use words. It uses awareness. You suddenly feel still, more present, slightly alert without knowing why. This is not imagination. This is resonance. Some connections do not operate through conversation or proximity. They exist beneath behavior, beneath distance, beneath time. And when that kind of bond activates, it doesn't demand attention. It invites recognition. You may notice subtle signs. You feel drawn inward instead of outward. Your mind quiets when you think of them. Your emotions stabilize instead of spike. That's the first clue. A soul calling you does not create chaos. It creates clarity. It does not rush you. It anchors you. Many people miss this because they expect intensity. They expect obsession. They expect longing that hurts. But soul-level connection feels different. It feels familiar without history, comfortable without explanation, certain without proof. You don't crave them. You recognize them. This is why ignoring it feels strange. Not painful, just incomplete, as if you walked past something meaningful without stopping. A soul does not call because it needs you. It calls because it remembers you, not from the past, but from alignment. When two people share a similar inner rhythm, distance becomes irrelevant. Silence becomes communication. Absence becomes presence. That's why you may feel them during quiet moments. Not when you're distracted, not when you're busy proving something, but when you're alone with yourself. Because the soul speaks only when the ego steps aside. You might question it. You might try to explain it away. You might tell yourself it's coincidence. But notice this: coincidences don't repeat in silence. They don't return when you're grounded. They don't bring peace instead of confusion. A calling does. And here's the part most people don't understand. Ignoring a soul-level call doesn't break the connection. It delays awareness. The connection continues. You just stop listening, but the pull doesn't disappear. It waits. You don't recognize a mutual soul calling through actions. Actions belong to the outer world. The soul communicates inward. This is why you may feel connected, even when nothing is happening on the surface. Mutual connection shows itself through inner alignment, not behavior. You feel calm thinking of them, not anxious, not desperate, not restless. Your body relaxes instead of tightening. That matters. A one-sided attachment creates tension. A mutual soul connection creates grounded stillness. You also notice that your thoughts about them arrive gently. They don't interrupt your life. They blend into it. You don't fantasize about outcomes. You don't rehearse conversations. You don't feel the urge to control distance or timing. You simply know they exist in your awareness. That is a quiet form of presence. Another sign of mutual calling is emotional neutrality mixed with depth. You care, but you're not consumed. You feel warmth, but not urgency. That balance is rare. It means neither soul is trying to take from the other. Both are simply recognizing something shared. This is also why time behaves differently. Days may pass without thought. Then suddenly they surface in your mind without effort. Not because you miss them, but because alignment reactivated. Mutual soul recognition doesn't depend on constant awareness. It returns when both inner states synchronize. You might also notice something subtle in yourself. You become more authentic. You don't feel the need to perform, impress, or protect an image, even in your imagination. Your inner voice softens. That's because your soul doesn't armor itself when it feels seen. And here is the truth most people misunderstand. Mutual soul calling does not guarantee reunion. It guarantees recognition. Some connections awaken you. Others walk with you. Both are meaningful. This is why trying to force contact often disrupts the signal. The soul's language is receptivity, not pursuit. When you push, you move into the mind. When you allow, you remain in alignment. If this connection is real, it doesn't require urgency. It requires presence. This kind of calling grows stronger during change. Not when life is comfortable, not when everything is familiar, but when you are shedding an old version of yourself. Personal growth creates space inside you, and space amplifies awareness. As you let go of old patterns, expectations, and identities, your inner noise reduces. When the noise fades, what is real becomes louder. That is why the calling often appears during transitions. When you are healing, when you are choosing yourself, when you are no longer seeking validation, the soul recognizes alignment faster than the mind. And when two people are evolving in similar ways, even separately, the resonance increases. Not because you are moving toward each other, but because you are moving toward truth. Growth does not weaken real connection. It filters false ones. If a connection survives distance, silence, and personal evolution, it was never dependent on roles or timing. It was rooted in essence. This is also why the calling feels stronger when you stop chasing it. Effort belongs to desire. Recognition belongs to awareness. When you focus on becoming more authentic, more present, more grounded, you unknowingly tune into the same frequency. That's when thoughts of them arrive unexpectedly, not emotionally charged, just clear. And here is something important. You may feel the calling more strongly at times when you no longer want anything from them. That is not detachment. That is completion. When need dissolves, clarity appears. At that stage, the connection stops feeling like longing and starts feeling like understanding. You don't imagine a future. You don't replay the past. You simply acknowledge something real exists without trying to possess it. This is maturity of the soul, and it's why many people misinterpret these signals. They think love must hurt to be meaningful. They think depth must be heavy. They think connection must demand sacrifice. But soul-level recognition feels light, not because it lacks importance, but because it lacks fear. Ignoring the call of a soul does not erase it. It does not vanish. It does not punish you. It simply waits. Patient, persistent, silent. The first effect is subtle. You feel a sense of incompleteness. Not a void, not longing that aches, but a quiet, persistent awareness that something is being overlooked. You may find yourself thinking about them at odd times, during moments of stillness, in the middle of tasks, when your mind is empty and wandering. You may notice patterns repeating. Someone crosses your thoughts in ways that seem coincidental, or experiences arise that remind you of them without reason. This is the soul's way of saying, recognition matters. Connection is real. The second effect is more internal. You may begin to feel restlessness. Not anxiety, not fear, just subtle tension. A part of you knows something vital is being missed. Ignoring this calling doesn't break it. It simply redirects your awareness inward. It teaches you to observe rather than react, to recognize truth without chasing it. Some people try to silence it with distraction. They fill their time with noise, relationships, or responsibilities. But silence eventually returns. It finds you in quiet moments. It surfaces when the mind settles. Here is the key. The soul does not ask. It calls. It offers awareness, not instruction. It reminds, not demands. It signals, not forces. Ignoring the call too long doesn't sever the connection, but it may delay clarity. It may postpone recognition. It may allow life to move in ways that feel less aligned. The calling is patient. It waits until you can notice it fully, without distraction, without ego, without expectation. And when you finally acknowledge it, you will not feel pressure. You will not feel desperation. You will feel truth. When your soul recognizes someone, responding is not about urgency. It is not about chasing or demanding outcomes. It is about awareness and alignment. First, notice without judgment. Observe the sensations, the thoughts, the subtle pull. Do not try to explain it away. Do not force it into the storylines of your mind. Second, honor your own presence. Being called by another soul does not mean losing yourself. It means tuning inward, aligning with your own essence. It asks you to be grounded, not reactive. Aware, not desperate. Third, reflect on clarity versus desire. Desire seeks fulfillment. Clarity seeks understanding. Soul recognition does not depend on attachment. It depends on resonance. It tells you something real exists, without requiring action or validation. Fourth, allow life to guide interaction naturally. If connection is mutual, paths will converge. If it is not, you will feel the difference in alignment. You may meet again unexpectedly. You may not meet. Either outcome does not reduce the significance of the recognition. Fifth, cultivate presence in your own life. The more aligned and grounded you are, the more clearly you can perceive the calling. Distraction dulls the signal. Noise clouds the resonance. Self-awareness strengthens it. Finally, understand this truth. Responding to a soul-level call is not about control. It is about receptivity. It is about being fully yourself while noticing the presence of another. It is not about forcing connection. It is about allowing recognition to guide understanding. When both souls are aware, something shifts naturally. No effort, no manipulation, no expectation. Just quiet alignment, just recognition, just the understanding that some bonds exist beyond circumstance, beyond time, and beyond surface interaction. Not every pull you feel is reciprocated. Some connections linger in one soul while the other remains unaware. Mutual soul recognition, however, has subtle but undeniable signs. First, energy alignment. When thoughts of them arise, you sense a balance, not tension, not craving, not distraction. There is calm in the awareness, and curiosity, not need. Second, synchronized timing. You may notice they appear in your mind during significant moments, moments of clarity, change, or quiet reflection. Strikingly, you feel as if they are present without effort, as if consciousness itself touches theirs. Third, emotional resonance. You feel echoes of their energy even at a distance. Not longing, not desire, but familiarity. A subtle sense of knowing. Fourth, intuitive recognition. You might sense their thoughts or intentions without being told. You know when they are struggling, celebrating, or pausing in reflection. It is quiet. It is never forceful. It is just awareness. Fifth, reciprocal impact. Your growth and calmness influence them even indirectly, and their presence influences you in similar ways. Not dramatic gestures, not overt contact, just alignment of inner states. Mutual recognition is rarely obvious. It does not come with proof. It comes with certainty. You do not have to seek it. You do not have to test it. You simply notice it in how your inner state responds. Your awareness deepens. Your grounding strengthens. Your sense of connection persists even across space and time. When you recognize these signs, you understand something important. This connection is not dependent on circumstance. It is not fragile. It is anchored in essence. And here is the final truth about mutual soul recognition. It is patient. It does not rush. It does not demand. It exists quietly, persistently, and meaningfully. When a soul calls, ignoring it does not erase the connection. It does not vanish because the mind refuses to acknowledge it. It simply waits, quietly, patiently. Ignoring it may delay understanding. It may postpone clarity. It may allow life to move in patterns that feel less aligned, less meaningful. You may notice subtle effects, moments of restlessness, conversations that feel shallow, opportunities that seem incomplete. These are not coincidences. They are the soul signaling. Pay attention, recognize, observe. Ignoring the call does not punish you. It does not demand or force action. It simply holds space until you are ready to perceive it fully. The power of this connection is persistent because it is not based on circumstance. It is not dependent on proximity, timing, or external validation. It is anchored in essence your own and theirs. Even if years pass, if the calling is real, it will reappear. Not as obsession, not as interference, not as drama, but as awareness, unmistakable in its clarity. This is why people often feel a subtle tug at the exact moment they have achieved growth or alignment. Life does not create coincidence. It mirrors readiness. Your recognition matters more than their presence. Your awareness awakens the connection. Your clarity strengthens it. Ignoring it only prolongs the lessons. Learning patience, learning discernment, learning presence. And when you finally acknowledge it, you respond with understanding, not urgency. With authenticity, not fear. With alignment, not expectation. This is the maturity of soul connection.